Oh! I think we might be streaming on YouTube in this economy. Oh, baby, it's time to frickin' make a funny meme. You read that title right, folks. Today, we're hitting the bong. I'm gonna give everyone a minute to file in before we get to funny stuff. Streaming right this instant. Yeah, everyone pile in. Let's make some funnies today. Move that over here so I can actually see. April Fools was my birthday. Happy birthday and happy April Fool's Day, Berkshire. I know I'm only 12 days late, but you know what they say, better late than never. Mr. Chizito, hello, welcome to the very funny stream where we're doing some very funny things today. It's gonna be good, I hope. Let me see if I can reasonably figure out anything. As always, I'm very good with my words today. I think what I want to do is I want to use the actual video player. That sounds like a good idea. Videos, that's the one. We'll just get that set up right now. I should probably grab headphones, actually, so that it doesn't all go fucky. No, don't start playing yet. Jeez Louise. YouTube. There it is. There's the video. Just... You can't see it right now, but I promise it's there. Headphones activated. Does this work? It sure does. Boys, we're in it now. Now if I can just figure out how to pop the chat out, we'll be gaming. Pop out chat. Wow. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost. Because I just lost the chat the instant I popped it out. There we go. That'll do, I'd say. I do have to make sure that, like, I'm not... Y'all know what? Let's put this in an incognito window. I do not want to accidentally, like, show my banking information or something silly. And knowing me, I probably will. So, bear with me for one moment. While we're waiting, what's your favorite pie recipe? Everyone tell me right now, all at once. Oh, I forgot. This is an age-restricted fuck. How do I do this? How do I make this work? I think I gotta do one of these. Yeah, everyone give me your favorite pie recipe right now. But don't give me the whole pie recipe, just give me like 3 ingredients from it. So that when I inevitably go back to this to try to bake it, I burn my house down. You can be part of something bigger if you just explain to me how to make like 2/3 of a pie. I think how am I still on YouTube Studio? There we go. I'm still looking at YouTube. Why am I still looking at YouTube Studio? It's literally a different tab. It's literally a different tab. What are you doing? OBS. Oh my gosh, everything's falling apart. Everything's going to fucking pieces right now. I genuinely can't explain why this is not working. It's just showing my my thingy. There we go. I don't know what changed, but alrighty. Now we're basically set up and ready to go. Should I have set that up beforehand? Probably, but that's part of the fun. Is you know, just kind of going in blind and figuring out as we go. So we're gonna do a little bit of director's commentary today, as well as watch a few other April Fools Funnies from some other YouTubers. But first, let me just catch up with the chat real quick because people are. These are the ingredients. Nuclear bomb. I think that's supposed to be cocoa, but it's spelt weird. Cocoa beans and meth. Good ingredients. Pie flavor. Banana cream pie. Good ingredient. Popeyes is good with drugs. Interesting. Blueberries, parsley, precisely. Oh, I said parsley. Precisely 32 C4s and more blueberries. Dang, we got some good pies going on. We need to do like a cooking with Play Don't Pause stream, where I have you guys seen those videos that are like, it's like some person who's doing like OnlyFans or something, and they're cooking in their kitchen while being like scantily clad, and they end up burning their house down. Or they set fire in their kitchen, like a grease fire, and it gets out of control. I know I shouldn't laugh at stuff like that because it's really serious, but it's kind of funny. It's a little funny to watch. Anywho, I think we're ready to watch a cool video. So without further ado, unless it's broken. Let me make sure it's not broken real quick. I'm sorry. I know I'm being kind of blue balling everyone here, but I want to make sure. It's supposed to be like that, right? No. Yeah, I had it right the first time. There we go. Theater mode. The only mode. And the only reason I'm like, I don't have anything bad like in my recommended feed or anything. I just don't want people to make fun of me for listening to like ASMR and stuff shit as I accidentally scroll down and dox it. Anyway, here we go. Let's watch some funnies. I never get to. I know I'm pausing already. So let's talk about Edward and his nut busting adventures, shall we? So the whole idea behind this video, I was walking home one evening from work, and I'm thinking to myself, what would be a cool story that I wouldn't talk about? It'd be like a good intro. And this was the first thing that came to mind, was Edward busts a nut. Peaked, broken, there's no audio. What? What do you mean there's no audio? Oh, you know why? Because I got headphones in, that's why. That one. Let's try it a second time.
Edward busts a nut.
That work for everybody? Everyone can hear that? Is that hearable? The sound from the video you're watching isn't playing. It's working now?
Here's a story that seldom comes up in conversation when talking.
It's working. We're firing on all cylinders now. Yeah, now it is cool. So, yeah, the whole idea for this video was, what if I just started as hard as possible with Edward busts a nut? And it took a lot of tries to get that right, I want to say. That was not like a one and done take. That took me a lot of tries to do it without like bursting out laughing. And I bust my eardrum. Sorry, I'll turn that down a little bit. I apologize for any eardrum antics. Edward is a mogul now. Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to that. Hey, Play Don't Pause. I'm Jacob Wells, and I love your videos. Hey, Jacob Wells. Nice to see you down in the stream today. Thank you very much. We're just talking about Edward and nuts. Yeah, so I really wanted to make this video. I thought it would be a really funny April Fool's prank, but I also was like, I'm not 100% convinced that I want to like have this video be floating around in the Thomas fandom. Maybe I should put it as a rated 18 video just in case, which is why it only has like 800 views. but it was worth it because, you know, I didn't see any like comments from people being like outraging about it. Maybe there was on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's kind of like the genesis of this video, is I just wanted to make something stupid fun, and Edward busts a nut is such a hard introduction. It just sets the tone for the entire video. Anyway, let's continue.
Talking about everyone's favorite blue boy. No, not him. Not him either. There he is. Look at him all lubed up and ready to go. Seeing that Edward...
Also, you're gonna notice with this video, I had the best time ever coming up with these innuendos and whatnot. It was just like balls to the wall antics.
Gets so few starring roles in proportion to his other mainline cast members. It may seem strange to a newcomer that this story routinely gets passed over.
If you're chatting right now, I'm not able to see it for a second just because I only have the one monitor to work with, and I don't really have the real estate on my computer screen to have both the video and the chat up.
Heck, for the longest time, I thought it was a piece of fan work made to emulate Christopher Audrey's tenure. But lo and behold, it's actually written by the man himself, meaning it's technically canon to the Railway series, and you can't prove to me otherwise. That being said, I don't think it's hard to see why the fandom likes to reach around this story.
Again, another one likes to give the story a reach around. I want to see how many people can actually like pick up on some of these innuendos, because there's a lot, and I didn't see like everyone get all of them, so I want to see in chat who's able to get which ones.
In favor of the work that came after it. I mean, the bloody thing only has 3 illustrations, all of which are reused from earlier Railway series books, and one doesn't even get Edward's design right. Yeah, nice work there, Chief. I get we all want to clock off early so we can wrap it and tap it, but you could have at least tried. Thankfully, that's where fan content comes in to save the day. We've got 2 versions that I want to compare for this, one being by Bluebell's 5529, and the other by Farquhar Productions. So, enough jerking around, let's get started.
Alrighty, so first big point that I want to talk about in the video is the 2 stories or 2 adaptations that I did for this. Now, I looked high and I looked low, and I could only really find 2 that were not, I wouldn't say worth talking about, but 2 that like were different enough that I had different things to say about them. The Bluebells one I thought was pretty obvious just because it's like a live action one versus like a Trains one, and so I figured that I wasn't really too picky on which Trains one I wanted to do, but I thought that the Farquhar projects, not productions, which we'll get to that in a sec, I thought that one would be pretty good. I did really like what he did with it. I thought it was paced pretty snappy. There was some stuff with it that I didn't point out that I wish I had, which gets me to the next part that I want to talk about, which is the fact that this video is probably one of my most error-ridden videos in my entire channel's history, which is not a very deep history. Like, I've only been doing this for a few years, but besides maybe my Thomas and the Breakdown Train video, this is probably the one that has the most like fucking wrong shit in it. It's Farquhar Projects, not Farquhar Productions, which he actually was in the comments talking about it. It's like, excuse me, what's my name now? I feel so stupid about that, and by the time I realized that, I couldn't go back and change it because the audio was already recorded, and this took like 2 weeks to make. Not a particularly long life cycle for it, but I was like kind of rushing through it. I wasn't really taking as much care as I would with like a proper review. Not that this isn't a proper review, it's just like, this is not, like, I don't usually do like sillier stuff like this. Sup Collins' channel has it going, we're talking about me being stupid. So yeah, there's just like errors everywhere. And that's the first one, is that I call them Farquhar Projects, or Productions instead of Projects. I don't know why. I guess the words just like look similar to me, and I was like, oh, it must be Projects, and it must be Productions, and it's Projects. But the second thing is that there's actually a third version of this that I could have talked about. In fact, I probably could have done 4 if I had like more time. Then I probably could have done 4 of them, because there was a Gmod one which was pretty good as well. In fact, I'd say it like combines a lot of the best of both worlds, and if I had just seen it a little sooner. And that's the other thing that I'm really upset about. Is Rapid and Tap It an innuendo? Hell yeah, it is, brother. That's like the euphemism for. Well, you want to know what? If you don't know what it is, you can. No, I'll tell you. I'm not gonna tell people to Google stuff like that because I don't know what you're gonna find. Um, no, Eggman 2.0. Rapid and Tap It is not an instrument. Rapid and Tap It is a euphemism for condoms. Holy shit! It just popped up on my thing. Duncan, with $10, pardon me, saying hello there. This time, don't eat the money. Well, you're gonna get a heart for that, but also don't tell me what to do. I'll eat the money as much as I want. But thank you very much. That is very generous of you. Much appreciated. Someone saying, what would you like to see in a faithful adaptation of Thomas and Friends that's an original story focused on the island of Sodor and the trains? If you find a way to make it. A faithful adaptation that's an original story? That's hard for me to say. I don't know. I feel like that's a tricky question for me to answer. I'm not 100% sure how I would answer that. If I'm being totally honest, I'm sorry, I would have to think about that for a minute. Yes, Eggman 2.0 raises hand again. What would you like to say? What do you want to say to the class? Would you ever consider playing Sonic games on stream? I would, actually. There's a couple that I've been looking into playing based on the Railway series. I don't know. I think honestly, like, go with whatever you think looks good, and just like focus on Jacob Balls. Just focus on the fundamentals, like for filmmaking and stuff. So having your audio sound good and be mixed well, having your shots be like good, sturdy, stable shots, making sure that your script like reads and sounds right, that kind of stuff. It's not really up for me to really say how you should do it, though. It's kind of just something that I think you have to find your own way with it. Oh yeah, speaking of adaptations, my dumbass thought it'd be fun to rewrite Misty Island Rescue, you poor bastard. I can still hear the voices. The script is gonna drive me insane. Fuck. Trackside Maniac, you are a braver man than I am, let me tell you. I know that there are some like remade Thomas movies, and I haven't seen a whole lot of them. The ones that I have seen are Journey Beyond Sodor, which was pretty alright, and I think I saw like a remade but like adapted version of what's it called? Adventure Begins, that's the one. I actually tried rewriting Misty Island Rescue. Again, you poor soul. I pity you beyond belief. Play Sonic 06 for the funnies. I don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation to play it on. And I'm not about to buy one just so that I can play the most busted Sonic game besides Boom. When it does, when the finalized PC port comes out, I would like to try it because it looks really cool. Did you see the rewritten version of Dave of the Diesels? I haven't. I've seen it like floating around rather, but I haven't really watched it. Play Project 06 instead. Yeah, that when Project 06 comes out and is able to run steadily on a computer, I will definitely give it a look. Anyway, let's get back to the video. We kick things into gear with Edward as he's ready to set off with his that line right there. I tried so hard to get another innuendo out, and I just couldn't think of one that worked. So last train of the day. However, as they try to pull away, him and his crew soon realize something. The brakes on one of the coaches are hard on, leaving them more or less stuck. This is also, I just remembered, this is also my first, well, not technically my first, I guess Ghost Train would be the first, but, Edward's exploit would technically be the first attempt at this, but this is my quote-unquote first real attempt at, like, taking two versions of the same story that I'm reviewing and looking at and like critiquing in different ways and like putting them together for the story segment, or not the story segment, the plot summary. So like I'm comparing them not at the same time, but I'm comparing them, but I'm using both of them for the story. Oh my gosh, for the yeah, you know what I mean. I'm sorry, my words are failing me right now, and I want to know what people think of that because I thought it was definitely easier to put it together, especially for stories like Edward cracks a nut, busts a nut, does whatever he wants with a nut. Just because there isn't a whole lot in terms of content. Like when I did the plot summary for like Railway series stories and comparing them to the model series, it's kind of, I wouldn't say difficult, but you burn through assets at a very fast rate, and so I just want to get people's opinion on whether or not they think that that really panned out in a good way, I guess. If that was like something worth doing, because I was thinking about there is a big review project that I want to do way down the line that I'm thinking about doing it like that, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I might come up with like a super special way to do the plot summary for that one, but we'll see. Capri Sun or Sunny D. I just had a Sunny D yesterday. I had the red Sunny D, which I didn't even know existed. It was not bad. I'm not a big fan of Sunny D. I think it's like discount orange juice, but methamphetamine or crack, now we're talking, baby. Don't do either. Those are both bad. How's the Victor Tanzik timeline going? It's stuck at the moment. I kind of just stopped working on it. Someone else made a timeline, which I definitely think you should check out. I would love to do a timeline on it, but I would first and foremost like to do a review of the entire show, which I've tried a couple times to do and I've kind of dropped off. It's I don't know. I don't want to start any like big projects until I finish what I'm currently working on, which is the basis video and some smaller stuff in between then and then. Lean or liquid cocaine? Probably lean. I think lean will do less long-term damage. But cocaine, though.
Duck. Despite the guard, driver, and firemen all tugging as hard as they can, none of them are able to get them off. Edward's crew walks back to the cab, telling him that they'll just have to give it everything they got and hope they're able to pull out. Edward is unsure, but knows that they'll miss the connection at the next station if they don't at least try. So, without hesitation, in that classic Edward style,
I also want to ask if that glitch effect was getting annoying for some people. Like, did anyone really find that glitch bothersome? I didn't think it was too bad, but I do definitely understand like when you're just like constantly switching back and forth, that little like bzz can get annoying sometimes. FNAF stream when? Okay, here's gonna be a bit of an unpopular opinion. Not unpopular opinion, but unpopular thing. I really enjoy Five Nights at Freddy's. I've only played 2 of the games, and one of them was FNAF World. I never really dabbled in the Five Nights at Freddy's games, mostly because they were on PC and I had like a crap top for the longest time. Like I didn't get my actual PC until 2020, so yeah. I maybe one day, you might get your wish for like a fun like the Halloween thing or something, but I don't know. Someone was talking about who here thinks Thomas and the Magic Railroad destroyed the franchise? I'm gonna be I'm gonna be not the devil's advocate, but I'm gonna just say, just because we're bringing it up, I've been thinking about this a little bit. Thomas and the Magic Railroad did not kill the franchise. What killed the franchise is people mismanaging the shit out of it and not like using the resources that they had properly. If you look at the production, obviously they wouldn't know this at the time, but if you look at like how many like resources they would put into making like new characters and new locations and shit, and just like flushing money down the gosh dang toilet, I'm impressed that it went as long as it did, especially in the model era, where they were literally pumping out like 15 new characters a season and then not using them ever. Like, it is amazing to me. And it was working on this basis video especially. It is amazing to me how many props they made that they just, like, threw away afterwards. And obviously, like it doesn't help that the show already... I'm going to take these headphones off just because they're kind of annoying. It doesn't help that already the show burns through assets faster than almost any other show I can think of. Like, you think of a cartoon, drawing like a background for a city is not particularly hard, but when you have to literally build all of the buildings just for like one background for one scene, obviously, like, that's just unsustainable. And so I'm not going to say Thomas and the Magic Railroad killed the series. I just think that they were trying to, like, really capitalize on how popular it was. And I do think that the movie has its merits. I want to get into that one day. But it is just, like, it is crazy to me, like, everyone focuses on, like, the one thing, the one movie where suddenly there was, like, a little blip and then things started to go bad, when you don't look at the big picture of the show was just being not managed very well. Like, there's a reason that it got sold to Hit and then sold again to Mattel, because it for the longest time it just wasn't profitable. That's why it switched to CGI, in my opinion, because people, like, they literally could not keep up with the price demand for every show, like for every season, where CGI is way cheaper. Like, you have someone go in, and, like, CGI is still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's way cheaper than building, like, the actual sets and, like, by hand and stuff, and hiring people to literally, like, craft models. So no, I don't think that it was Magic Railroad that broke the franchise. I think that it was destined at one point or another. Now, do I think that it was, like, just the fact that it was so expensive? Absolutely not. It was mismanagement on, like, every level. It was people who mismanaged it, sold it off to someone else, who then ran it into the ground, changed everything that made it popular, ran it even further into the ground, then tried to, like, revamp it into what I consider would be a pretty run-of-the-mill cartoon with plenty of good moments, don't get me wrong, but still, like, it has, like, that, like, standard cartoon formula vibe to it, in my opinion. And I just don't think that it was, like, I don't know. I don't think that it was impossible for it to continue on and maintain quality past season 5. But I also am not convinced that, like, we would be in a different spot regardless of, like, how good the writing was or how good anything was. Because theoretically, like, season 6 and 7 could have jumped in and saved it. They are not bad seasons. It just wasn't economical to keep doing that, and so they handed off to another company. Anyway, yeah. Hope that answered the question. I'm sorry for going on a bit of a rant there. If you couldn't tell, I'm a little bit scatterbrained today, and I'm not 100% sure why. Takes up the slack and pulls with everything he's got. Sure enough, the train begins moving, albeit slowly. Then with a jerk, everything suddenly comes easy, and Edward is able to make it to the next station without any delay. After some investigating, it's discovered that the thing holding Edward back this whole time was nothing more than a nut, which had gotten jammed in the braking mechanism. Edward pushes the coaches to the siding for repairs, all while thinking about how one small nut could cause so much trouble. Edward, let me tell you now, brother, you're not the first to say that, and you won't be the last. I think it's pretty understandable why this is... That's actually one of my favorite lines in the whole thing. How one small nut could cause so much trouble. Edward, you're not the first person to say that, you're not going to be the last, brother. I don't know how many people got that one. That one's pretty blatant, but, you know. That's kind of the thing with innuendos. It's like, if you get it, really funny. If you don't get it, what the fuck is he talking about? Have you seen the Minecraft movie? I've not yet. All I know about the Minecraft movie is that people are fucking destroying theaters over it, which is a real shame. I thought that I know Minecraft fans, myself included, are a little bit anal, but you know, I was kind of hoping that we wouldn't be, like, turning movie theaters into a PvP enabled zone. So, yeah, I've no spoilers in the chat. I would like to go and see it like totally blind, if that's okay. Someone just shouting chicken jock. Okay, I do know the chicken jockey thing. I know that it is a meme. I don't know any of the context around that. It's the only other thing that I know. That and again the theater destroying shit. Which if you're going in there and like tearing up chairs and throwing, if you throw a let me just lay this out right now. If someone, let me get like regular cam on for a minute just so that I can fully explain my vitriol for this, because I get fucking absolutely tilted with this shit. Listen here. If somebody pours their fucking drink on me during a movie, that's gonna be like my Winter Soldier moment right there. I will literally like turn around and I won't just go ballistic. I will go fucking intercontinental ballistic. If someone like throws their shit at me. Like I have no problem if you want to like have a good time, if you want to like cheer during a certain part of the movie, that's fine. But just don't ruin the experience for other people, please. Adam in chat, what your thoughts on Arnold? He sure is. What if it is on accident? If it's an accident, that's one thing. But like, there are people who are literally throwing their drinks and popcorn and shit, and you know that they're not cleaning that up afterwards, and that just grinds my asshole. Like, genuinely, that really bothers me, because you have these people. As someone who worked in retail for a good while, it really bothers me seeing people like make a mess in public spaces and not clean it up, and then they just go on their merry way, leaving the employees who are already having a shitty time. Like, movie theaters are probably a little better than like working at like a gas station, but still, don't make the janitors come in and make a fucking like have to clean up your mess, right? Like, I can't be the only one who thinks that. Hope this stuff doesn't happen with the FNAF 2 movie in December. That's another movie that I need to see. I need to see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I hear it's cool. Good, bad, I don't know, but I hear it's cool. The chaos in the cinemas is the sole reason I want to see the Minecraft movie, not to participate, but to see the chaos firsthand. I do think it would be funny to like be there. But I don't. I just think people need to behave themselves a little bit better. Thoughts on the Sonic movie? Thoughts on any Sonic movie? Haven't seen them. There we go. I don't go to movie theaters much since Ghostbusters Afterlife. I just watch YouTube videos and stuff on movies and shows everyone's theater reaction. I do enjoy going to the movie theater. I just want people to like not burn the place to the gosh dang ground. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just haven't seen any movies recently. That just goes for any movie. I think the last movie I watched was Tobias and the Arcane Merchant. So that's where my priorities are, for anyone who's wondering. Anyways, let's continue here. Videos with facecam, there we go. This is a fairly unknown story, seeing as it's about as shallow as one of those pools you fill with an inch of water so your kid doesn't fucking drown in it, only for them to find a way to hurt themselves regardless. It was way harder than you think to find video of a kid in widescreen getting hurt in one of these pools. It was so much harder, because all the videos are like people with these giant like $10,000 pools, and the kid like slips on his own piss and bonks his head or something. And it's like, it's funny, but that's not what I'm looking for. Still, I don't think I'd call it a bad story per se, as it does something that not a lot of Edward-centric stories manage to do. It shows off Edward's persistence to get the job done, while also exemplifying how his age is slowly but surely catching up with him. He is an old boy, and because of that, something as simple as busting a nut can pose more of a struggle for him than some of his colleagues. I'm sorry for pausing right in the middle of that. I just... Oh my gosh. sometimes, like, I had to force a couple of them in. Sometimes the jokes just write themselves. Why is he at 260? Because the artist literally just, like, copied a picture from, it's like, Leaves. They copied a picture from Leaves, and they didn't change Edward's wheel configuration, which is not hard to do. I was able to do it in Photoshop. So take that, artist person. Why did you do that? Why did I do... I don't know. I don't follow. 260 Edward doesn't exist. He can't hurt you. No, he exists.
As a point of comparison, my grandparents,
just Blue
grandma
James.
and grandpa played on pause if you will, have been in situations very similar to this, where everyday activities like opening a thing of pickles, a bottle of ketchup, or a jar of condoms can be a real hassle. They're still as active as they were 4
Opening a jar of condoms still gets me. I was like, how can I make that really funny? Opening a, like, it was originally like opening a jar of pickles, a bottle of ketchup, or a thing of condoms, and I was like, what if it was a thing of pickles, a bottle of ketchup, or a jar of condoms? Like, just the idea of a jar of condoms. Originally, I wanted to see if I could get, like, an edit that was, like condoms in a pickle jar. Was not gonna happen. I was on a bit of a deadline for this one, obviously, so, yeah. Did they even have Photoshop at the time the story was written? Probably not, but, I mean, I don't think that excuses them making, like, a pretty blatant error like that. Why a jar? Because it's funny. A jar of condoms. Like, it's perfect. It's great.
40 years ago, relative to their age, of course, but they just don't have the same strength as they used to.
This whole segment actually was probably, like, one of the most tricky parts for me to do, just because I wasn't sure what to do for it. Like, there was just a whole bunch of stuff that, I don't know, just wasn't panning out quite right, but I think it worked out.
Thankfully, given my living situation at the moment, I've been able to help them with some of the more heavy-duty parts of their life, like opening a jar of condoms.
Condoms. I don't know why condoms is so funny to me. Thanks for reminding me of my mortality. No. I'm sorry. Hey man, we're all gonna get there at the same time. We're all in the same boat.
The adaptations in particular do a very good job at conveying the struggle this nut gives Edward, especially in the Bluebells version, where you can see just how fucking pissed he is. You can really feel him working it, trying to yank the train off to the next station. He doesn't stand around liquidating his inventory before...
Okay. No one picked up on this one. Liquidating your inventory is also a sexual innuendo. Liquidating your inventory. I was like, I need, like, a thing that means jorking off without just straight up saying it. Originally this bit was longer, where I was talking about, like, oh, I bet if it was James doing it, he would have just fucking sat around blasting before you could get going. But I cut that out because it was clunky, and I was like, what can I do here? And then I googled euphemisms for masturbating, and liquidating your inventory was one of them. Bro, you had a field day with this. I really did. That's why it's not unlisted, but age-restricted video, because I did not want people, and I mean, this stream isn't age-restricted, so I guess people are getting into it now, but I did not want to show this to people who would not be absolutely as prepared as they. And if you're not prepared after 18 years of life for some masturbation jokes, you probably shouldn't be watching YouTube, just in general. A bigger field day than Yakko Warner, absolutely. This is a very Animaniacs, like... Although, I think I'm pushing it a little closer to the edge than they were. That's kind of gross. Dude, listen, Garrett, sometimes you just gotta talk about the best Edward story of all time that no one ever mentions. Edward busts a nut, and there's nothing wrong with that.
can get going.
Anyway, let's
he
continue.
goes hard right away. This is one of those stories that becomes vastly improved with the right kind of presentation, and these two certainly do it justice. However, that's not to say I think one is strictly better than the other, as I think they both have their pros and cons. Farquhar Productions has more interactions and close-ups with the humans, and certainly has that model CGI hybrid feel to it all around.
I wish, again, this is another thing that I really wish I'd mentioned. And
close-ups with the humans, and certainly has that model.
Oops. Right there, right behind the guy. I don't know if you can see my mouse showing that. I think my mouse turned off. Lines where lines should not be. If I had just been paying a little more attention during my initial watch through, I probably would have pointed that out. But I didn't, because I just want to say, I don't think either of these are perfect, but I also don't think that either of them having a few flaws makes or breaks the project. That's all I wanted to get out there. Had I, had a little more time to work on it, had I been a little more focused, I probably would have pointed out some more of that stuff, but, we live and learn with stuff like this.
CGI hybrid feel to it all around. Something the Bluebell's version isn't really able to do with physical models, as, well, you need large-scale models for shots like this. With trains, it's not a problem. You can scale them up as much as you want. Just make sure that they don't stay like that for more than a few hours, or you'll have to consult your doctor. What do you mean it's stuck like that?
Wait, let me back up real quick. I want to let this play out.
Shots
Sorry,
like this. With trains, it's not a problem. You can scale them up as much as you want. Just make sure that they don't stay like that for more than a few hours, or you'll have to consult your doctor. What do you mean it's stuck like that?
Time to check your prostate.
I know what everyone's bitching about. That was easy. Should probably get rid of this, though.
Okay, so originally this joke was
Your doctor.
going through it. What do you mean it's stuck like that? And then cut back to the main thing. But then I was like, wait, what if? Hear me out. What if I went further with it? And I remembered seeing a clip of someone, I think their username is Mayro, or it's the funny hoo hoo man on YouTube.
That.
Time to check your prostate.
That's from one of his videos, and I was like, that's really funny. Scream. Now I'm gonna cut it off. And then I was like, wait, what if I did one further?
I know what everyone's bitching about. That was easy.
And then it was gonna cut back. And then I was like, what if I did another one further?
Probably get rid of this, though.
And there's like so many layers to this joke. It's like, what do you mean it's stuck like that? Which is like a thing with Viagra where if you take too much of it, Dr. Mario, my beloved. That's Dr. Amigo, Jordan. I'll have you know. There's a difference. I was like, what do you mean it's stuck like that? And then that's where the joke ended. Originally. Which is a Viagra thing. And he's like, time to check your prostate, which especially hits really close to home for me. It's especially funny because I had to go to the doctors recently, and they were like, hey, we might have to do a thing. Not specifically a prostate exam, but it was like something where it was like, hey, we might have to get a little invasive here. And I was like, do we though? And it's like, well, we don't have to. Like, we could just let it play itself out. So yeah, there's an extra little bit of comedy on there, but prostate exam. Oh no, walking out. Oh, that wasn't so bad. I don't know what people were talking about. Holding a sucker, but then it's like, oh, I should probably get rid of this, which is a play on. It's a play on like, did they give me a sucker and I just gotta get rid of it so I can get back to the thing? Or is that the thing that they shoved up my ass? You decide. I love how he implies he owns a literal crew member as a pet. I like how you add the lollipop to hold in your hand. Thank you. I love doing little edits like that. But is it a lollipop or did they shove it up my ass? You decide. That's my question. Leave your, I'm not gonna do a vote, but leave your thoughts in the comments.
Meanwhile, the Bluebell's version uses physical models on an actual set, something I always love to see, has more build up to the nut giving way, and features some lovely cinematography and coloring towards the end. But in fairness, it does also suffer from some sequencing and pacing issues. This is not a long story and can comfortably fit about 3 to 4 minutes. However, Bluebells has stretched it out to 8, really getting the most juice for the squeeze. And honestly, I think paring it back a bit might have helped to make things just a little bit snappier. On the side of sequencing, this is where we get into everyone's favorite segment of the video. Shit only Play-Doh Pause cares about.
That's my favorite segment of the video. I don't know about you guys. I have noticed very often with my videos, I will end up going on these long segments where I'm talking about stuff that I don't really think is like, I lost my train of thought because I saw someone saying, you know what else you should check on, Luigi, your prostate. I have a thing where I go on these long segments that I don't really think a lot of people particularly care about, where I'll talk about certain things with like the behind the scenes production, and I try not to like make my videos too terribly much about that, but I just kind of slide it in a little bit every now and then, just to, because you know I do want to like give some good criticism and not just like say bad or this needs to be better, but like, you know, maybe try to explain like how I think that it could be better. But if you don't agree with anything that I say in this segment or anything that I review, that's totally fine. I'm not here to say that like I'm not de facto. I am objectively right and something is terrible because I don't like it, because that's just not true. Like, if you enjoy something, I think it's good to like to try to see things from another person's perspective, but it's also shouldn't take away from your opinion of it. I don't want to seem like a hypocrite. I gotta be honest, masturbation jokes are funny. I said gross, a TMI, because no one else did Lamau. No, it's all good. And masturbation jokes are funny, gosh dang it. Like Duke the Lost Engine is sad, but the Edward Nutt story is poetry. It's true. It really is true. Duke the Lost Engine, pretty good, but Edward busts a nut. Would you ever dedicate an entire stream to just reading shitty fan fiction? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say shitty fan fiction. I've thought about doing fan fiction streams. I'm not 100% sure how much people would really be interested in it, because it's kind of like I'm sitting here and I'm reading it, I'm talking, and that's kind of just it. Like, I don't know. Maybe one day, if I had like Luke and or Adam on the stream with me, that could be fun. But probably not a solo thing. I think my days of solo reading fan fiction are behind me. But unless people would be interested in seeing it, but it would be very like visually uninteresting, I think. Edward was feeling really good that day. He sure was. When I talk about sequencing shots, I'm referring to the way of which one shot flows to the next and so on. For example, let's take this segment with Edward's exploit. From the time Edward enters the storm up until he gets moving again, he's traveling from the left side of the... I am so upset about this. This is another instance of if I'd just been like... Because I had this shot in my head, and this wasn't like a Mandela effect where I thought that it was reversed. Legitimately, I remember the shot in my head. I remember him being from left to right, and I just wrote right to left. I've confused myself. I remembered this shot being from right to left, and for some reason I just wrote left to right. And then I've still confused myself saying it here. So I guess the editor's note at the top there saying I'm clinically stupid is pretty accurate. The screen to the right, and only swaps directions after this head-on shot. It's very small, but it gives the viewer that natural transition as we cut from one part to the next. Compare that with Edward busts... I do think that the criticism is genuine though, even if I didn't explain it very well. And I didn't want to go back and re-record it because I knew it was going to sound weird. It's a nut, where sometimes he's going from left to right and then switches around going right to left, and things start to feel just a little bit awkward. It's like a transitional itch between shots where 1 second we're going one way, and the next we've done a 180. Now, I'm sure someone in the comments will bring up the idea that maybe the track just turned between cuts, but that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm more focused on the filmmaking side of things. Okay, I want to say right here, this is legitimately one of my like favorite edits of all time. This is probably the best edit in this entire video. I would say, just because there is so much going on here. This background is cut out from some other shot. I think it's from Percy and the Magic Carpet. I've put the video, overlaid it, made it look real, got the camera in there. Like, it looks so gosh dang good. This is like, I don't know. If I were to make like a highlight reel or something, this would be in there. You can tell it's Photoshop, but it's hilarious. I think that this, I mean, the white on this I don't love. Like on the hands there, you can kind of see it a little bit. But other than that, like, I think it is it's one of my best edits. Not gonna lie, Up and Away is overhated. It's better than classic and Brenner eras. Fuck the haters. Based. I'm just realizing now, the Misty Island Rescue rewrite is 24 pages long. Oh, that's amateur hour. You want to talk about long videos? Basis video. 165 pages. Absolutely no one is going to watch the entire thing. It's not happening. As a filmmaker, I agree with this part. Thank you very much. Thank you for, what's the word? Thank you for validating me. There we go.
And from that perspective, I think a little more planning might have been needed here. And no, it's not as simple as just flipping the footage either. Because when you do that, oopsie doopsies, that too sure is looking fucky wucky.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to say here. Flipping for specifically for Bluebells, not the end of the world. I will say that because his numbers are very small, at least on Edward, his numbers are very small. And most of the shots are far away enough that you wouldn't be able to tell. That is just a little footnote that I want to add on to there. So I don't want to sound like I'm being like super unfair to him in this segment. This is more so like a general thing. Like if you try to flip it, that too is going to look wonky. But in this case, if you can't see the number or like it's too small to make out, it's probably fine. I just wanted to add that because I thought at the time that it was worse than or it would look worse than it actually was.
I wouldn't say this makes or breaks the
like
final
in this
video.
shot here, you could probably get away with reversing it and no one would be able to tell. Or very few people would be able to tell.
But it does show the importance storyboarding out your shots has when you're making a project like this. At the end of the day, all I'm saying here is that both these versions give a very different viewing experience despite recounting the same story, and in my opinion are both worth giving a watch. With that being said, I would love to hear which version you prefer and why in the comments below. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and take care. Another video in the bag.
Alrighty, so this final segment, when I originally thought of this video, I was like, Edward busts a nut, that's hilarious. But you have to I knew I had to have a segment at the end that was like, oh no. Because I know if I just like left it as is, if I just left it as Edward busts a nut, people would lose their shit. So this is that like addendum segment that I put on at the end. Someone saying, the word wucky, all you could think of is Huggy Wuggy from Poppy's Playtime. That's the basis, baby. That's the whole joke right there. I'm glad someone picked up on that. Man, my grammar died for a sec. That's okay. I've literally been talking for the past 50 minutes. How have we been going for 50 minutes? Oh my gosh. I thought we were gonna like watch a bunch of funnies today, but we've been going for almost an hour right now. And I do have some other things I need to get to. So we'll finish this up and we'll talk for a little bit and then we'll be on our way. Would you ever consider bringing back the Steamies Awards only for like a big event? Sorry if you've answered that before. I just really missed it. I really enjoyed the original. Let's talk about we'll talk about the Steamies Awards in a second. I just want to let this play out.
Feels good to be back. It really does. Oh, that's odd. There's an edit here. Let's just have it. Wait a minute. It's cracked? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah. Fuck.
And yeah, I wanted like a funny thing. Having the Kool-Aid Man bust in, thought was pretty good. It glitching was not originally part of it, but I thought that was also cool. I love how you can still see the hole in the door. Yeah, that's from the Halloween video. Hole in the door is now part of the lore. I know that people like the continuity, so I try to keep it as much as I can. So to answer the question about the Steamies Awards video, not enough. Uh-oh, my chat just died. Let's go back to just chatting and see if we can fix that. I think I can close that anyway. That's okay. Did my stream just die? Hello? Did the stream just die for everyone? I hope not. Are we back? I think we're back. We good? It's still here? Okay, cool. That was weird. It just said we ran out of memory, which is not something that usually happens, but I guess it happened now. Yes, we're back. We're on the air. We're still here. Everything seems fine. Good. So talk about the Steamies Awards real quick. So it's a little bit it's a little bit complicated. So originally I wanted to do like it is a yearly thing when I was making it originally. Then it came out then I actually started working on it. Rather, let's start there. Because I don't want it to just be like, oh, there was too much drama, I don't want to do it again. Because that's a little bit of it, but it's not the entire thing. Because at the end of the day, like it's me saying like, hey, this is why I think something is good. This is why I think people should go watch it. Trying to recognize, just trying to recognize creators that do a cool job, that make a cool thing. And you know let's just look past the drama for a second, because that's like, if that was the only thing, I'd probably consider doing another one. The other big reason I would not want to do a second one, is because it's a lot. That was 6 months worth of work. That started back in June or July, I want to say. Probably July. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. And it got way more like attention than I like for the initial announcement video than I was even prepared for. And there was a lot of content to sift through. And I also didn't have a very good way of it took 6 months. That's why there was all those podcast videos, because I wanted something to fill the gap, to varying degrees of success. But it took a long time to do. It was a lot of work, and it was just not really worth it. Even looking past the drama, I wouldn't call it. I'm happy with the video, and I still stand by basically everything that I say in that video and in the addendum video. But I don't think it was really. It's not really something I want to do again. I would rather focus on doing other stuff. And a big reason for that is because trying to figure out who edges out, and most of those were like edging out over, like one creator edging out over another. Very, very, very tricky to do. Whole lot of like sitting down thinking. And I said in the explaining video, where I kind of come back with my tail between my legs to break it down. I do think if I would have been more clear on how I broke it down, most people would not have been super, yes, edging, I say. Most people probably would have understood to a certain extent. But it wasn't like I was just like picking 15 of my favorite creators. I did go through and I did watch a lot of that stuff to like see, okay, here's this person. We'll do like a King of the Hill style like thing. So it's like, is this person like just a little bit better? Do they do this a little bit better? And yeah. And then there was the whole copyright thing, which I will just flat out say that the people who were like not impressed with that, you can not be happy that someone's reviewing your stuff, but I'm not breaking the law by doing it. I want to point out. If that was not something that was not kosher on YouTube, literally no other creator like in the fandom who doesn't make like stories, who does reviews, would be able to do it. Unlucky Tug would not be able to like make his big reviews on all the seasons and whatnot, all his retrospectives, because it just wouldn't be. You just couldn't do it because you can't use the footage, but you can because of something called fair use. But people didn't want to hear that at the time, so though, like, and it's the copyright, because if you don't agree with the opinion, like, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna like stamp my foot on the ground. I'll explain how I came to that opinion, how I came to that conclusion. But you know, it wasn't I don't know, it was the copyright and just so much shit going into it. So yeah, so I hope that answers the question. And I hope that people are okay with that. I don't plan to do it. I plan to like go to other big projects, and you know, that one's kind of just there as like a nice little 2022 time capsule. And also just I also want to and I'm not saying this as like a pity party thing, but 2022 was hard for me. And it was not helped with this video. This video was very stressful to try to get out in time for New Year's. It was supposed to come out on New Year's Eve, and it didn't because I wouldn't say bad stuff happened, but it was a rough time in late October, early November for me, and it did not improve. My schedule did not improve during that time, and I literally, like, even with like working from, I think it was like 3 or 4 o'clock until 12 o'clock at night. Again, I'm a little fuzzy on the details. 3 or 4 o'clock till 12 o'clock at night, I still wasn't able to get it done. So it was just a lot of work, a lot of everything. So yeah, that's the reason why. Probably not. Now, would I be opposed to doing another big video where I just look at some really cool shit? Absolutely not. I would love to do another video where I take 15 categories, like short story, series, review, all that kind of stuff, essay, and just talk about them. But it wouldn't be in the same comparative format, because even though I do think that format had the benefit of shining a spotlight on more creators, it was not, people were not happy with, they felt like they were being put down, which obviously wasn't my intention, but what can you do? I did see a thing from everyone saying purple hoodie hello. Just in case you didn't know, I don't do the animation myself. My friend does it. Just want to be clear because I didn't know if you were. I did actually think that you did do the animation, so I do appreciate that. But I that doesn't really change my opinion on thinking that your videos are cool. I still think that they are. And I think that make sure to tell your friend that I think his animated bits are awesome. And I might just have to go to him at some point to ask if he'd be willing to do some animation for my stuff. Maybe. I'm not sure. Again, it all depends on schedules and stuff, and if he'd even want to do it in the first place. Have you ever considered a year-in-review style video? Yes, we were just talking about that. I would absolutely consider, if I had the time and the ability to do a year-in-review style video, I would absolutely love to do it. I think it is better to just do like more focused, centralized reviews rather than a big thing. And also, there's like over a year in the Thomas fandom, there's always going to be drama and stuff, and I don't think people really want to be reminded of that. I think drama fades away with time for the most part. I can take off these headphones now. But it's weird. The headphones throw me off when I'm talking, because it's like I'm muffled to myself, and I don't know why. Yeah, I would, if I had the time and resource to do like a 20-minute overview of a year, I think that would be kind of fun. But then you run into the problem of like, well, you didn't talk about this person. Brother, I can't talk about everyone. That was another thing with the Steamy Awards. It's like people were like, oh, well, how come you just brought up this person when they're stinky? Because I don't follow every piece of drama that happens in the world. Like, I'm not the Oz, right? I'm not like the all-seeing eye who's able to like pick out like, oh, I can't talk about this person, and I do try to a certain extent to avoid talking about certain creators, and I don't like doing that. But I know that if I do talk about them, people are gonna get upset because it's like, well, why are you endorsing this person? Well, I'm not. I'm just talking about a piece of art that I think looks good. Like, and it's something that like you can't stop every review and say art is not an artist. Um, so yeah, you're not the Eye of Sauron. Thank you. What do I call you? You're allowed to tell. Are you allowed to tell us your real name? You probably haven't. I forgot. I don't really talk about my real name. I try to keep that personal and private, as it were. Just play, don't pause, or play is fine. Yeah, one of those two is what I go by. Just because I don't really love the idea of putting my name out on the internet where anyone could find it. And it has nothing to do with the people in chat. I absolutely adore that people are coming out to like watch my shit or even support me in some cases, and it is all like sorry, I got distracted by something. It means more to me than you can imagine. But I've also heard stories of people who are too much of a fan to certain creators, and they do some pretty wild things. We've talked about the guy who lit someone's car on fire, lit a streamer's car on fire because they were in love with her, which is wild. And there was actually a follow-up video to that, which I saw, which was really funny, where he gets caught by the cops like 2 minutes away from the thing. And I'm not saying anyone here is going to do that. It's just, I don't want to open myself up to that as much as possible. I don't want to dox myself. The all-seeing anti-pauser pro player. I dig it. Bro, I hate it when that happens. I think you mentioned that. Yeah, we did mention that in a stream before. So again, just play, don't pause is fine. I'm sure I've probably like dropped my real name in a video or in something at some point. I know I accidentally did it talking to Luke once. Don't ask him what it was. I don't think he'll tell you. But yeah, that's just my stance on that. And I think I've said that a few times, but I don't mind. Like if someone asks, like I don't mind just clarifying, because you know things about that can change, and I think it's good to ask questions. Yo, what's up? Play, don't pause. Nothing. We just got done talking about Edward and his nut-busting adventures. And apparently we went for an hour, which I don't know how I talked for an hour about a 6-minute video. I wanted to talk about some other April Fools stuff today, but we might have to do a Smoking the April Fools Crack Pipe Part 2, because I do have some other stuff I have to do today. But I can stick around and chat for a few minutes. I might have to make the sad story of Henry and Edward and Gordon. That's a lot. If the short film gets popular. There's a short film? Did I miss a short film somewhere along the way? Bro, that video was amazing. Thank you. I'm glad you liked Edward Busts a Nut. I really appreciate it. If Thomas Theris knows, he'll use it to leverage his car keys back. He might. Me and Adam have like a little bit of a running rivalry on the channel. We're friends. Like we're not like at each other's throats or anything. But it's just like it's kind of like a funny like in the Play Don't Pause universe rivalry where I steal his car keys, he shows me some cursed shit. It's a good time. A whole adventure on Edward busting his nut is different. Hell yeah. Making a short film. Well, I wish you the best of luck, because I know that making short films can be freaking hard. That's why I always say, like, hey, even if I critique someone and say, like, hey, I think you could have done this a little bit better, even if I bust out, like, hey, I think the font choice could be a little better, I want people to know that, like, making shit is fucking hard, okay? It's not easy to do. And so, me criticizing something that's, like, out in the world is not me, like, trying to take a fat, massive dump on it. I'm just like giving my opinion on it where I can. And if people, people have different opinions, then that's totally cool. Where we can all, that's the beauty of living in a society where you can have different opinions. And if you don't agree with one person, that's okay. Just don't burn their house down or some shit. Not unless he gets blackout drunk on your couch. Oh wait, that's Luke. I really enjoyed doing that introduction for his Series 10 video. That was so much fun. How did Scrapyard Studios ever... Hey, did Scrapyard Studios ever stop breaking your windows? Yeah, he only broke the one. Unfortunately, my damage deposit is fucking gone to the wolves now. Especially after I tried to replace it after I broke the window the first time. And then boarded it up. And then he broke it again. So yeah, I don't have my damage deposit anymore. That's why we're streaming in my bedroom now. I've been banned from. And then there was the fire, which someone in chat started. So you know, I don't know if I think I might have. Did I ban that person like as a funny joke? I don't know if I ever unbanned them. I'd have to check that at some point. I feel like I'd feel really bad if I did and forgot to unban them. Hope you like it. Those two stories are my favorites in the first book. Hey, if you're passionate about it, then by all means, go off. That's something that I really, I don't know if it really translates fully when I talk about stuff. Is that like the passion that people bring into these projects? Like, it's crazy how people are just like so like, yeah, I want to make this thing, and they visualize it, they get all the shit going, they make it, and they do a really good job. And I think like with what we were talking about today, I don't think I really like dig into that, but I hope that it is conveyed when I say like, wow, this looks really freaking good, that people like they're able to pick up on that. Maybe I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah. Diesel 10 is heading towards you at 90 miles per hour. Joke's on you. I don't... Oh, I do actually live next to the railroad track. Shit, I better start moving. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for now. I'm sorry for being a little awkward during this one. I was feeling motivated to stream, and I think I had a good time with the stream. I hope everyone else did. Thank you again to Duncan for the money. I really appreciate it. Every little bit helps, but you are by no means obligated to throw money at me just for existing on your screen. I am here making shit regardless. I'm having a good time. Oh wait, what the flippity flop? Someone said. I like that. That's it's a good play don't pause ends the stream as soon as I arrive. I'm sorry, Grain. We've been going for about an hour now. Goated stream. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys are having a cool Sunday. Go relax. Go have a nice treat or something. A cool snack. Play a fun video game. And enjoy your weekend. Sundays are a good day for resting and getting ready to get back to the grind. So make sure to take care of yourself. Anyway, I think that's what all I got for now. Hope you had a fun time, and I'll see you hopefully next time. I want to do some more streams later on, so